Starfield is officially dead. Maybe it's been dead for a while, but it's recently become clear that it is very, very far from the expectations that were once had before it released. I mean, the game has lost 97% of its player base, which was once a very high number. At one point in time, Bethesda did have a very good reputation. Then Starfield happened. Fallout 76 happened as well. I've always been a huge Bethesda fan. I have a Vault Boy tattoo on my arm. Like, it's the only video game tattoo that I have. That's how much I've always loved Bethesda and Fallout, Skyrim, Elder Scrolls, all of it. So naturally, I did pre-order this. It was the only game I pre-ordered in the last, like, bajillion years. The first playthrough I actually loved. I beat it right away. I couldn't stop with the story and everything. I never really made it to a second playthrough, but I'll get more into that in just a moment. I only choose to mention my love of Bethesda and Fallout and Starfield and Elder Scrolls just so that you know you can critique something without being a hater, okay? You don't have to shill out for every company. Even if you have a Vault Boy tattoo. I just like his design. It's cool, you know? Whether or not you like the game, the Vault Boy's dope. Right? Let's get into this. Where do we begin other than the issues at hand? A lot of this is going to be my own personal opinions on why Starfield completely tanked, but I'll also get into some stuff that other people I've seen mention. The most glaring issue is the optimization. The game runs like dog shit pretty much most of the time, unless you got like a super rig that Mr. Beast would bust his pants open at the seams just looking at it. If you don't have that, the game, it runs kind of poorly, especially in like the main planet you first get to. I noticed right away that it was just crashing my game, crashing my stream. The sumbitch just didn't want to work right at all. The updates have been addressing that, but it shouldn't have been that bad at the very beginning. People shouldn't be struggling to get 30 FPS on a game that's not even really that graphically amazing in all areas. It is in the fact that the worlds look pretty good, space looks great, but you know, it's not the best thing I've ever seen. This isn't the fucking Last of Us, which runs even better than this, you know? I personally liked the story of Starfield. I was invested and I wanted to see what happened. I liked the decisions I had to make and the repercussions that came with them, but I have seen a lot of people say that they are not a fan of the story. They never really get into too much detail, at least that I can find, of why they don't like it, more so just subjectively, but that's still important. Lots of things are subjective and we have to respect other people's opinions. Now, I thought it was pretty cool. I thought the twists were good. And it was enough to keep me wanting to play the main quest line. I thought the main quest line was great. Not a lot of the side quests were that amazing, but I didn't really play too many of them, mostly because of the new game plus. It took me about 60 hours of exploration and main questing and some side questing here and there to finish the game. That was enough for me because once I had beaten the main quest line, now this is a major spoiler, so we're like 6 months past the game releasing. If you're not looking for major spoilers, maybe skip ahead like a minute or 30 seconds. I'm sorry. But once you beat the game, new game plus unlocks, and with New Game Plus, you basically shed your body and your soul and your everything, and maybe not your soul, but you shed your loot and everything, and then you go into the next like plane of existence or whatever. It's been a while since I played it. And you start a new life, and everything's a little bit different, and your character is still strong and everything. Enemies are stronger. It's like a scaling system that you keep going through and basically speedrunning now. This is a Bethesda game, right? This is a game to indulge my people, the hoarders. Okay, we love hoarding shit. I've got so many drugs in a bathtub in Fallout 4 that the game doesn't even load Sanctuary anymore because it's all just broken. I completely ruined that game. It is like 1,000 hours in that game and I can't play my main save anymore because I saved in the area and I get 1 FPS and then it crashes. I like to hoard. I like to keep every single item that I find. It's not a problem. Everybody keeps telling me it's a problem. It's fine. I'm getting by just fine. I just can't play some games anymore. I got a time limit. Not everybody else does. But either way, in Starfield, once you beat the game, you lose all of your stuff. Everything. Your guns, your house, all that shit. It's just gone. Completely clean slate, which would be fine if I would have known that from the beginning. Basically, they could have said something like, just letting you know, New Game Plus is an integral part of the story, and you will lose all your stuff by the time you finish this thing. I wouldn't have spent as much time hoarding everything I could find, building a base. I never build bases in games. I built a base I'm really proud of. And once I hit the ending and it told me that, I was devastated. I knew I'd be missing out on a large part of the gameplay if I left everything I worked for behind and killed myself to become something stronger. I didn't want to do that. And I had to wrestle with that decision for a long time, and inevitably I ended up just uninstalling it, hoping that someday they give us a new game plus where we can keep all the stuff we've saved. I don't think it's ever going to happen. And I kind of feel like I wasted my time losing all that hard work. You've got like a base crafting system and everything. You can't do that to us. I'm probably beating a dead horse with that. Many people like the New Game Plus and many people don't. But I don't think people would complain if we would have had notification warning us not to invest too much time into our main storyline and to just rush the story 10 times or whatever it is until you're max level and then start exploring and having fun. I got to get to that point, and I don't think I will. It's obvious that some of the planets, no, a lot of the planets are kind of repetitive. I didn't mind that too much. I like the mystery of finding new monsters and everything. They can be very scary to me, and I thrill very easily. I've thrilled 3 times during this video. But nonetheless, they do get old after a while for everyone, including me, even though I lost a lot of time exploring and just looking for stuff, whatever I could find, churning over everything. That's why the hoarding pile was so big. But I do note that it does get old after a while. Another issue I saw from a lot of other people, because believe it or not, I do a little bit of research before I started yapping about stuff, is that they weren't a big fan of the combat. I get that to some extent. I thought the gun combat was fine. I thought it was really smooth and played just fine. But you do lack a lot of variety. There's a lot of the same guns over and over again. There's not really many melee options that I can remember. I don't remember doing anything with melee really at all. Maybe a couple things, but nothing like really strong enough to make a case for itself that I could think off the top of my head. I know looter shooters are under attack right now, but I personally do like them. So I wasn't upset with the system they had in place for finding different rarities of guns and everything. I kind of get a kick out of that. It's exciting not knowing what you're going to get. I don't mind grinding the same stuff over and over again, but looter shooters may be on the way out as more and more people are getting very shitty on the subject of them. So it was fun while it lasted, at least. So with the empty planets, some people not liking the story, New Game Plus being really lackluster, and the updates just being focused on bug fixes and not really adding anything, a lot of us are still wondering where the hell the DLC is. Some people paid $100 for this game, and I'm not going to say any names, but they're out here. And yet we still haven't seen anything for the DLC. I believe it's still just a it's coming in 2024 kind of thing, which is really bullshit, by the way, in my opinion. If Bethesda really wants to right the course and make things better for the players, they've got to do something. They've got to bring something to make this game more exciting and enticing, especially with this bad reputation that they've built. They're going to end up like the worst case scenario for Cyberpunk 2077. I've heard it's gotten a lot better. I haven't given it a shot since release. Got burned pretty bad there too, and I just haven't bothered to go back yet. But I do know objectively it's a better game. So Starfield should take a page out of their book, and No Man's Sky book, and Fallout 76's book, and start giving players things, anything, because $100 is a lot of money, man. What do they say, $1 per hour is what when you're getting your worth? I only got 60, which would have been fair if I'm, again, not saying any names, who paid $100 for this game. Plenty of people have had hate boners for Bethesda Game Studios for a long time, since Fallout New Vegas came out, and they thought that it was so much better than Fallout 3 that they just had to shit on that and anything coming after. Despite all that, games like Fallout 4, Skyrim have lived on to be these massive success stories, and Skyrim is known as one of the greatest games of all time. But with Starfield and Fallout 76, we're seeing that vocal minority turn into a vocal majority, and it shows in the player count numbers and everything like that. I don't think Bethesda's gonna go anywhere. I don't think this is gonna kill them. They still made a lot of money off of Starfield, and I think there's still some hype for the next Elder Scrolls game. But that doesn't mean they're not becoming a bit of a laughing stock in the gaming industry. I mean, a lot of AAA games and quadruple A games, whatever the hell that is, since indie games keep hitting the popularity high notes and people flock to those and support those a lot easier. I mean, look at Palworld. I know I almost went a whole video without bringing up Palworld, but it's goddamn hard, man. What are the reasons you think Starfield fell so freaking hard? Is it something specific? One thing, two things, 99 things? Let me know, because the conversation doesn't have to end, even if I say bye.
Yeah, because I'm a
diehard Satanist.
Oh.
They've had their hand on the Necronomicon this whole time.
I was gonna say because I'm a gay liberal, but that works too.
What's the difference?
God damn it.
I'm gonna piss myself.
Could everybody in the world